Hi all, welcome to my On the Line show presented by MySportsResults.com and sponsored by Marathon Sports and the Foster Running Camp. My interviews feature some of Connecticut's top cross-country and track and field athletes, teams, and coaches. But in this episode, I'm very excited to welcome Lauren Kropo of Naugatuck High School, who just finished first in the 600 meter at the New England High School Indoor Track and Field Championship with a time of 1:32. The junior is looking to improve upon her already impressive performances this season at New Balance Indoor Nationals this week in the 600 meter and the 400 meter events. Anyways, we have a lot to get into in this episode, so let's just jump right in. So I'm gonna first start with this question, Lauren. So coming off a first place finish at New England's in the 600 meter and a seventh place finish in the 55 meter dash as well. How do you say you performed and what went well, especially in the 600 meter?
So for starters, I knew I had the 600 was my big race. I was very excited to run it just because it's just a very different race to begin with. I mean this whole season, the six was so different for me. So going into that, I was nervous, but I was definitely excited. So we started off with the 55. 55 wasn't my best performance I've ever had, but it was definitely exciting to run against the competition that was there. The experience, it was amazing. I wasn't mad about myself or how I did. I was proud. I mean, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like amazing, but it was a good turnout. And then for the 600, it was exciting. I was scared. I was very nervous, but I was really excited. Deja Duncan, she is just amazing. She pushed me very on those two laps is great. She was staying with me. She did awesome. If it wasn't for her, I would have not gotten the PR I did. But no, it was a very fun race to run. Like I said, definitely different for me because I'm more of like a 400 type of girl. So obviously the six is a lot, but I'm very proud of how I did and how the results became.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I just want to add, you did such an amazing job, especially in the 600 meter and doubling. It cannot be easy. So I applaud you for doing that. And you also, I noticed you didn't race the 300 meter at New England's as well. Instead, you obviously opted to do the 55 meter dash along with the 600 meters. So what was the reasoning behind this choice?
I think it was more because I think it was my coach's decision because I asked him what would be the best bet, what he preferred. And he was like, I really do think, obviously, you've had a strong three this season. It was your PR this season. But he's like, this six, Lauren, he's like, I did this to improve your 300. But he's like, this race is your race. Like, you go all out. He's like, and he was really excited to see how I would do on a bank track. So he was like, okay, let's get this race with her on a bank track and see how the time is and how she can place. And I mean, I think he made the good choice.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, definitely paid off again. So, and again, this is the first season that you have started to run the 600 meter, which is super interesting. So, how do you say you have adjusted to this longer distance?
It was definitely a struggle. I mean, I remember first 600, I was waiting and I was so anxious. I was like three laps. I was like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start walking. Like, I'm gonna walk.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, okay, I got it. Like, I'm solid in a 400. It's just one more lap in indoor track. So I was like, I can do it. So I didn't really know how to run it. I just kind of went out, like, felt like the pace. I was like, okay, like, I can keep going. And I just kind of guessed, like, how to run it. Like, I didn't know what type of splits I was supposed to be hitting, but I did. First lap, second lap, obviously third lap felt like war, but I was like, I just gotta finish it.
Y-
And it was definitely different from what I'm used to, but I liked it. I do think personally the 400 is more exhausting than the six from what I've like felt, but I really like it.
Yeah, no, and I think that's great again. And I'm also curious, do you plan on attempting to race the 800 meter and the 1,000 to build to build off of those 600 meter times?
No, so my coach has said already, he's like, outdoor, I definitely want you trying some 800s.
Yep.
I was like, oh, okay. But
No,
yeah.
that's funny. I mean, I love the 800. I think it's one of the most fun events to not only race but also watch as well. So that's going to be really cool to see how you compete in those. And just based off of the 600 meter, what type of drills and just strategy and tactics did you have going into knowing that you would need to do this event? And how did your training shift as a result of this?
Well, my coach is very big on like speed endurance. So he's always like, yes, like focus on those workouts consisting of like 6 200s, like you know what I mean? But he with me this season, I was working with boys and I work with these two boys and they're the best and they are more like mid distance, so they're more 800. So
Mhm.
they're very like they're strong in our 800 4x8 relay. So I ran with them and I was for a 3 months, I want to say I did workouts with them and it was like 350s, 450s, 550s, and they were longer workouts and they felt like death, like because they were
Yeah.
pushing me. But it did in the end obviously really, really help me for the 600 because I would not have ran what I did if I didn't have them to push me.
Yeah, no, no, for sure. And I mean, again, I think that's such a cool story about how you just started doing the 600 meter. And I'm also curious, you keep touching upon your coach, Coach Roper. So, how has your relationship with him developed over your career at Naugatuck High School?
He's an amazing man. I mean, freshman year, I was new. I was very shy. I was like, oh, like I didn't really know what track was about. I didn't really know what a good time was. I just kind of went into it. So I was very uneducated in the sport. I just joined it for fun. Like it looked awesome. And I mean, he knows everyone. He's a super funny guy, very wise guy. Like he knows what's up, and he's just the best. I mean, I would not be where I am without him. He knows everything. He knows what's best for me and how I'm going to perform. And overall, I mean, I'm just a junior. I still have one more year, but I feel like I've gotten so close with him. I've gotten so close with all the coaches, and they're really just like the best.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And another thing that I noticed while looking at your season is you broke the Class L state records, one in the 55-meter dash, another in the 300-meter, and yet another one in the 600-meter. So I'm curious, what do these records mean to you, and how do you plan to build upon this to potentially get the state open records or the state records in general in CT?
Well, talking about my coach, we had like a little meeting before class else, and he hands me this paper and it has like highlights on it. And I'm like, what is this? And it just has highlights of each record. And he's like, okay, Kropo. He's like, just look at it and like, like study it. Like, I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, okay. So pressure was there. I was like, that would be amazing if I could do that. But I was just trying to take it one race at a time and just focusing on like my seating and my events and just hoping to get first. And I was able to pull it off, and that was a very special moment for me. I thought it was very cool. I never expected myself to do that. So it was very cool just because he said it. I was like, "Oh, okay," and he knew what I was capable of, and it was just awesome.
No, absolutely. And as I was saying with the state records as well, you're, I believe, 2 seconds away in the I want to say the 300 meter and from Precious Holmes, and you're also a couple seconds away in the 600 meters. So will you have that in the back of your mind going into some of these national races and even next year?
Definitely. Well, actually, for nationals, I'm running the 60 and the 400 because they
Oh,
don't run
okay.
the 600. So I'm very excited to run the 400 because that's something new for the indoor like this
Yeah.
season. But yes, I definitely would love. I mean, obviously, the 600 is going to be one of my main next year, and I just think in the future I have more obviously confidence because I was at first like I can't run the six, like I don't know how I'm going to do that. But I mean, obviously, I think the season was a huge confidence boost. It was like, okay, like I belong here, I can do it. And I think, yes, I'm just gonna keep looking for next season too.
No, no, for sure. And just touching upon nationals, you said you're running the 60 and the 400 meter.
Yeah.
So what are your goals going into this? What would you hope to achieve?
Well, for the 400, my PR last year, I ran it at Outdoor New England. I ran a 55.4, I want to say. So that'd be cool if I can get a time somewhere around there. I mean, I think I'm excited to see how the 600 has helped my 400, like for endurance wise. So I'm excited to see like a time for that. And for the 60, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that 5 extra meters is a lot. So I'm excited to see like the time difference and how I'll run that race.
Yeah, no, and I mean, you've done amazing in the 100 meter in the past, which I'll touch upon in the next section of this interview. So, I mean, adding that 5 extra meters shouldn't be too much. I'm confident in you. I think you'll be straight. So, but anyways, we are going to cut to the sponsor of today's show. So we'll be right back with our interview with Lauren Kropo after we take a quick break for this message from our sponsor, Marathon Sports. welcome back to our chat with Lauren Kropo. And this part is going to focus more on some of her past results, specifically in outdoor and in past indoor seasons. So super excited to get into this. So you burst onto the scene as a freshman with your fourth place finish at the State Open and at New England's. How have you been able to not only maintain this level of excellence throughout your career, but also build upon it to the point where you're obviously excelling right now?
So I would say definitely the workouts that Coach Roper provides. I mean, they are no joke. It's just like you run your body to the ground, but it's such like it builds so much character. And I feel like over the years I've been more obviously educated in the sport. I know how like I should be taking the workout, how I should be doing the rest, how I should be getting back into it. It's just more educated in each practice. I get more aware of how to do things and how practice should go about and like stretching and just like really feeling my body out because I feel like freshman year I had no clue. I had no clue, but
Yeah.
now I'm learning and I think the education is a big part of it.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree. Once you get more used to how things run with track, it just helps you having that experience. So I'm also just curious, did you sprint in middle school or did you do other sports to really help you transition seamlessly into high school track?
So actually, crazy story. I like to bring it up. I actually played softball for 8 years. So I did
Oh,
travel softball and all stuff like that. So it's like a completely 180, like just joining freshman year because my sister, Julia, she was an All-American from Naugatuck High School in their 4x4 relay. So I saw her. She graduated a year right when I
mhm.
got into high school. But I saw their success and I was like, oh my gosh, like this looks so fun. I'm like, and it's a successful team. I'm like, okay, I was kind of in a slump with hitting for softball. I was like, okay, this isn't like, it's not going well. So joining high school, I was like, okay, like new school, new sport. So I joined it and I loved it. I did cross country my freshman year. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't great. I had shin splints, but then I didn't do it my sophomore year. But that's when I got into indoor track, outdoor track, finding my events, finding where I like fit in. And yeah, it was a complete difference from softball, but it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Wait, what position did you play in softball?
I was a pitcher and I was center field.
Oh wow. Okay, well center field you got the speed though there. So that adds up. That adds up. So you have to have that range there. That's really cool. And also just you touched upon this earlier with the where in the previous question with your sister's involvement in the 4x400 relay, and you've been part of these relays as well. Particularly part of the 4x400 relay that placed second at New England's during your freshman year. How did these experiences shape you into the athlete that you are today, specifically having that team-centric attitude?
Well, I've always said the Naugatuck High School's had such a great team environment. Like the kids on the team are awesome, and that's partially why I love the sport so much. So when you put in relays, I think it just makes the sport so much more special. I mean, going to Penn relays, going to nationals with a group of girls, like group of boys, like it's just so much fun because everyone's together. And then even when you do like your individuals, like they're there to support you. So it's like you have your individuals, like you focus, and then you can come all together and just do what you have to do.
Yeah, no, and I just think that's really cool that you were able to have that relay experience as well. And I'm also curious, just how did this contribute to your success in individual events, especially as a freshman with this involvement in the 4x400 relay?
I think that it really just built like a sense of belonging. I mean, the girls, like I was new to the team. I didn't know anyone, but I was like I wanted to run, so I was like I'm going to stay on the team. And I just think the girls were just super super supportive and it really just taught me to how just to be like it was just strength. Like I did my workouts with them, I stayed with them, and I just knew I had a huge support group. So when I was doing my individuals, I knew I had support behind me. I shouldn't be freaking out because I know I have people there and it's just like as much as like it's such an individual sport, but you have so much like
Mhm.
people behind you for you.
Yeah, no, I feel like you always have to have that type of team atmosphere. I mean, it just contributes so much to your mental health on the team and everything. I mean, it's just great to have just such cohesion with other people and be trying to achieve that same goal. I think that's beautiful. But one of the other things I noticed is that you didn't get past the prelims at New England's last year in the 55 meter. So I'm wondering if this served as a motivation source for you going into indoor this season, specifically with obviously going for the 55-meter dash at New England's?
No, for sure. I last year I remember I wasn't feeling my best. I think it was I was sick with something. But yeah, it was definitely like a try to get back. I mean, get back into it. Obviously, last indoor season wasn't my proudest. I definitely had a lot of ups and downs. I had mono. It was just a lot of like crazy. So I mean, I had to get back into it. And outdoor I did well after indoor last year, but I really wanted to have like this time to shine. Like I was like, I got it. I feel like my confidence is higher than it was last year. I just feel like I'm in a better like state. So I was excited to do the 55 at New England, and I was, obviously the 600, which is completely different from what I ever do, but no, it was definitely exciting.
Yeah, no, and just kind of based off that, going into this outdoor season, I know you're looking into indoor nationals right now, but what are you really aspiring to achieve in the 2025 outdoor season? I know you're only a junior and you have another year, but just specifically with your junior year.
I mean, I would just say keep doing, kind of just keep doing how what I've been doing. I mean, like the training, just obviously PRs would be amazing. I mean, it's just I try not to be like, think of like, oh my gosh, like I have this meet coming up, this meet coming up, this event. Like I just truly like try to take one race at a time because I do feel like, because I do, like I run off anxiety. So I do think that's where the speed comes from. It's just like pure like adrenaline, like
Mhm.
anxiety. So I do think when I start to overthink and stuff, it gets all like crazy. And that's where I'm like, okay, like I have to take it one at a time, really focus on like what is at hand and like at task. Like, I mean, I did the same thing when it was the 55, the 3, and the 6. Like, there are all these events I have to do, but like in order to like do it, I have to like take one thing at a time. So I feel like even for the outdoor season coming up in the next year, it's just really just focusing what I have at hand and how to become better from it.
Not taking one step at a time. I really respect that. I think that is so synonymous with success, just being able to see what's in front of you and not get too caught up in the future. So I really do respect that. But anyways, we'll be right back to our interview with Lauren Kropo after we take a quick break for this message from our other sponsor, the Foss Running Camp.
On the Line with Grant Walters is sponsored by Foss Running Camp, an overnight cross-country camp for middle and high school athletes of all abilities, located in nearby Torrington, Connecticut, August 14th through 19th. Go to fossrunningcamp.com for more information. Foss Running Camp, where champions are built one step at a time.
Welcome back to our chat with Lauren Kropo. This part will be focused more on fun and personal questions, which is honestly my favorite section of the interview. So I'm very excited to get into this. So I always ask every single person that I have on the show this same exact question, but do you have any unique pre-meet rituals? And if so, what are they?
What do I do? I mean, obviously, I wear like this necklace and my earrings are like my lucky like type things I have to
Yeah.
wear all the time. But I mean, listen to music, calm myself down. I always do a sign of the cross. I mean, I always
Yeah.
like I talk to myself. Nothing too drastic, but I mean, I do my little things.
What's your go-to pre-race song or
Okay,
artist?
I love Pitbull. I've been to two
Okay.
Pitbull concerts, so anything by him.
Okay, nice. I love that. I love that. Gets you hyped. I love that. I love that. And I'm also curious, do you have any track pet peeves or any general pet peeves?
I'm gonna have to say the generic walking on concrete with your spikes. I don't like it.
Oh,
No,
yeah, no,
it's
that's
rough.
just painful. Hearing like the yeah, that's gross. Yeah. Do you have any general ones as well, just in daily life?
I would say slow walkers.
Yes,
I yeah, I like it gets me mad.
I feel like every track athlete can relate
I
to that
know.
one just because I feel like as track athletes, people just walk faster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And like
for sure.
seeing everyone just walk slower, I completely agree with that one. And I know we were talking about this before the interview with the La La Land poster in the background, but what is your favorite movie all time?
Oh my gosh, La La Land, love it. It's just amazing.
No, best choice out there. I agree with that. I think that's amazing. And I also noticed that you're interested in journalism as well, which I find
Yes.
very, very interesting. Writing for the Greyhound, which is the student newspaper at Naugatuck High School. So, what do you write about, or what's your beat?
Well, I did it last year. It was like I took the course for a whole year last year, but I loved it. I thought it was very cool. I mean, it was something very new. I've never done that before. So it was very new. I loved it. It was just like more of like it was just like it wasn't creative writing, but it was just like you just find your interest and you just write down. I loved it. I loved writing also about like I did one on like Quincy Wilson. Like I was like it was so cool, but I really enjoyed it.
No, wait, that's awesome. And what really drew you to pursue journalism at your high school, and why do you enjoy doing it?
Again, also because
Yeah.
I knew my sister did it and she really liked it. She was like, I mean, Julia, she was like, oh, like I love it. Like you get to read about all these different things. And I knew like I saw the website. So I saw like the articles she has written and I was like, okay, like this looks very cool. So I was like, let me give it a shot.
Nice, nice. And also, this kind of an interesting question just because it relates to athletics, but how has writing contributed to your athletic success?
I would say, I mean, I love English. I do. I'm probably an English girl, writing all that stuff. I mean, I like really love it. I mean, it's kind of like it goes two and two. It's like passion, like you have passion in writing and passion in running. And I think they tie. I mean, like I said, like when I like wrote about like the whole track thing, like I was very into it because it's like something I'm interested when I do stuff like out of school, but like in school, like I'm able to write about it and like say what like I love type thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And other than writing, what do you enjoy to do in your free time?
I would say I love what do I love to do? I mean, I love to just hang out with friends. I love to hang out with my sister. Like I said, I keep bringing her up, but I love her. She's like my best friend. When she comes home, she's at college right now. She goes to Marist. So when she comes home, I get to see her and just hang out with her and just really just relax. I mean, yeah.
Nice. And have you always been tight with your sister? Have you guys always been close?
Yes, very. I think over the years, obviously, but even with track, I feel like it's even brought us closer together.
Yeah, no. And what's the best piece of advice that your sister has ever given you?
She said. I don't know if there's a specific like advice, but like she actually was at New England and she calms me down so much. Just like she helps me, she tells me like she was telling me that like my 600 like I can do it, like I have the speed to like I have that 55 type speed to like be able to like go out in that 600 and do well. And I just think it's like her reassurance of like because she knows a lot about the sport as well. So she was like her reassurance of what she knows and like what she knows I'm capable of.
Nice. And do you just have a sister or do you have any other siblings
I
as
have
well?
two sisters. I have Emily too. She's big into music too. She's a music therapist.
Oh, cool. Wait,
Yeah,
that's
she's so
awesome.
cool. I love her.
Yeah. No, that's wait, that's so cool. Wow, that's awesome. And also this is my final question, but I'm curious, if you could swap bodies with another person for one day, who would you choose and why?
That's hard. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Probably my coach. Low key, just to see like what he thinks and like what he sees from like our his perspective. Because I know he does like the practices very well. Like he plans them out. And I would just like to see how he sees like how what we do in practice type thing.
No, that's cool. And as a coach, would you change anything about any of the game plans or any of the workouts?
Probably not, because what he's been doing has been working. So
No? Hey, that's fair. Hey, that's the right answer if your coach is watching. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the right answer. So I love that. I love that. But well, again, I would like to thank Lauren for her time and willingness to be part of this interview. It was enlightening to hear what you had to say, and I genuinely wish you the best of luck at indoor nationals and the rest of your season and outdoor as well. So thank you again.
thank you.
Oh, of course. And thanks to all of our fans as well for joining us. Stay tuned for my next interview. And this is Grant Walters signing off for On the Line. Have a great day, guys.